other sight in the game could see the boxing
side. At the end of the day, I'm going with Ward.
Now, everyone knows I'm infamous for saying last question is never the last, but I do have one that's important to the both of you guys, you yourself, even Lamont. Obviously, this lawsuit, they're trying to get a temporary injunction to stop PBC. They're saying that Haymon is blocking events and he's not letting other promoters do business. But what I see is a product that was missing from the market, and we're giving it to the consumers for free, opposed to making you pay for it. We're trying to abolish pay-per-views, and we're making young guys that probably wouldn't have this opportunity become household names by being on free TV. So the hashtag has been going around free boxing. Are you in support of free boxing? Obviously, because you're part of PBC. But could you, I guess, take yourself out of the equation and try to find something wrong with PBC?
If you ask me, of course, I'm going to be biased if you ask me about Al. You know what I mean? The man has stepped up not only for me, but for my family, my direct family, and my gym family. So I'm going to ride with him 110%, come hell or high water, number one. Number two, you was in this room when all the fighters and the coaches was in this room. When have you ever been to a pre-weigh-in and seen this much jubilation? People laughing, talking, smiling. These guys are eating on this end, you know, and I personally got a call recently from a young man who fought 2 main events on TV, knocked both fighters out, won 3, and had a total of, well, I won't say the number, but he had a small bankroll for 2 fights, which the opponent in these fights get for 1. You know, world champions fighting on TV, laying their life on the line for $25,000 and $30,000 in world title fights. That's crazy. That's crazy. Boxing is one of them sports, for the most part, over the years that had generated, you know, in one fight, upwards of $100 million, $200 million, $300 million. So riddle me this then, or answer me this. Why is it that at the end of the day, you get these dudes going 10 and 12 rounds, bloody, knotted up, going to the hospital, you know, the whole nine, and at the end of the day, they don't even have enough money to, you know, meet the bill collector's debt. That's something real wrong with that. And, you know, you got other people walking away with just mountains of money. On this end of the ring, you know, I've seen since we've been on this side of the ring, these guys are leaving, the opponents and the guys on the A side are leaving with nice, healthy paydays that they're able to go home and they pay their bills, feed their families, or what have you. And that's the way it should be. So how can you get mad with somebody from coming out with a better will than yours?
Well, I guess the knock on it is that the fighters, these promoters, and the allegations obviously in the lawsuit is that he's oversaturating. He's overpaying the fighter. And if PBC fails...
You should underpay the fighter?
No, but they're just saying if PBC fails, these fighters are accustomed to what Al was paying them.
Should you underpay the fighter? Would they be happy then? So you mad now since because the fighter's getting a better payday? That's crazy. And that was a question. When you think about it, that's what it's all about. You mad because the fighters are getting better payday, better salaries now. When they would get underpaid, I got a problem with that.
Now, obviously, none of us are lawyers, but wasn't there cold wars and divides in boxing before Al Haymon? I mean, Don King and Bob Arum had a time when they didn't get along, and then Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya had a time when they didn't get along, and the phrase Cold War was invented. Is there any difference now that Al Haymon is basically creating his own realm in boxing, having over 200 fighters?
Came with a better tire, number one. Number two, now you got people that couldn't afford to go to Vegas, that couldn't afford cable TV, that really couldn't afford to support their fight in no other way. Now it's back on free TV. You go to the store and buy the cheapest TV you want, plug it in, you got NBC. Free. Boxing kind of changed, my opinion, sort of when it went to paid TV. And then the networks, you know, may have had one fighter that they supported. So that fighter got all the support. You know, if you wasn't a part of that, then, you know, you were just a face in the crowd. You know, my opinion, I think that, you know, Al brought, you know, something new to the table. To me, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like I say, I'm watching these fighters come along. Now they're happy. You know, they're getting decent paydays, you know, for what they do. The fights have been very entertaining. It's on NBC, which was the first free TV that started boxing years ago and had professional boxing on TV. And anybody that has a problem with an athlete that gets a decent payday, then the problem shouldn't be with them, it should be with that person.
My last question, truly, is opportunity, and that's what it seems that PBC has offered everyone, is an opportunity. Luis Collazo, best example. He was just in the ring with Amir Khan.
You just saw Luis Collazo, you saw Edna Cherry, you just saw Randall Bailey sitting here. You know, these dudes are now getting a second chance, man. You know, actually a second, third, and a fourth chance. And for the most part, when you turn your TV on, when you go back to boxing, we still talking about fights that we seen 30 and 40 years ago that were legendary fights. So if they gave us so much to remember, then shouldn't they leave or exit this game with something? Instead of the old traditional story, they bankrupt, they got on drugs, crack, they was shot doing a robbery or some garbage like that there. Come on, man. I'm for it. And one more time, let me show you this T-shirt. He ain't say for me, he ain't say for Anthony, he ain't say for us, it said for all. How can you argue with that?
Well, Barry and Anthony, wish you guys the best on Saturday and continued success with your stable and continue to, continue getting these wins, man. We'll continue to see you at these events. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.
All right.